The Central Station nightclub in the heart of St. Petersburg keeps a very low profile. So does the club's lone bouncer. And if it weren't for the flashing lights in the upstairs window, you wouldn't even know it was here. Unless, of course, you were looking for it. Inside, it's the bread and butter of gay cabarets everywhere. Bawdy humour, transvestites, an appreciative crowd that knows the routine. Pamela, one of the stars of the show and an accountant in a previous life, adds a note of warning.
Вот лично я не чувствую. На мне это никак не сказывается, но я думаю, что народ некий чувствует, как-то это чувствуется.
And here's why.
I think that homosexuality is one of the sins, and a moral state should say this is a sin, this is not correct.
Vitaly Milonov is on a mission to root out what he calls the spreading sin of homosexuality in Russian life. He's also one of the country's most influential politicians, a close ally of Vladimir Putin, and the author of legislation that is seen as openly homophobic. But more of that and him later. St. Petersburg has always been a city of splendid facades. It prides itself on being the cultural capital of Russia, its intellectual conscience. But it's also become the laboratory chamber for a new kind of nasty politics, aimed first and foremost at Russia's gay community. Ask the girl in the red scarf. Sasha wants to blend into the crowd but finds it harder and harder. She's gay and runs an organization that supports the gay community.
I'm afraid for my physical safety. When I live in the office, I always have the pepper spray because the homophobes, they're going around our office and they're making the photographs of people coming in and going out. I'm afraid for the new laws that are coming that can be dangerous for me and for people that I love.
Sasha used to counsel 2 or 3 gay couples a year who want to emigrate from Russia. Now it's 2 or 3 a week.
The government is not taking any care to defend homosexuals who are being harassed and murdered by organized groups of neo-Nazis who are hunting after homosexual people.
Killing them as well?
Killing them as well.
Sasha has every reason to be scared. Attacks like this one are becoming more common. The attackers are a group of extremist vigilantes who prey on suspected gays, beat them up, and accuse them of being pedophiles. The police tends to look the other way. Here was another case. The man using the pepper spray on a gay activist during a peaceful parade is heard shouting, "Sodomy is an evil sin." He was apprehended by the police, went to court, and received a year's suspended sentence for hooliganism. We tracked down the assailant, now a full-time religious activist, and took him back to the scene of the attack. He was unrepentant. Why would you shoot someone in the face for demonstrating for their homosexual rights? Why would you do that?
Us Christians, we are the most helpful group for that people, homosexual, because only we truly want kind to them.
Gleb, shooting someone in the face, albeit with an irritant, with pepper spray, with pepper gas, is not very kind and helpful, is it?
Their way of life is more harmful for them.
The government's new laws specifically mention homosexuals and pedophiles in the same sentence, and they prohibit propaganda aimed at minors, which can be interpreted in the broadest possible sense. The law is supported by 80% of the Russian public, and it terrifies the gay community because it provides political cover to the vigilantes. the glorious Palace Square in the heart of St. Petersburg. This is where Peter the Great built his capital in order to open Russia's mind to the rest of the world. This is where the Russian Revolution started and changed the world. How ironic then that this is also the city where Russia's campaign against homosexuality is now taking place, a political tool in Vladimir Putin's country. We met one gay couple who live in this housing estate on the outskirts of St. Petersburg. Tanya and her partner, who is Jewish and didn't want to be identified, have been together for a decade. They have 2 children who go to the local Jewish school, and they have first-hand experience of another kind of abuse, blackmail from the landlord.
He's written us that he would go to the school and he would tell everybody that we are a gay couple, and we had to pay him for that.
You had to pay him for that?
Yeah.
So it was blackmail?
Yeah. So we had to give him the money. We did it, and he left us
alone.
That
must have felt really awful.
Disgusting. Terrible. That was terrible.
So what is greater here, homophobia or anti-Semitism? Or are they both?
Все вместе.
You get both, right?
Были такие случаи, когда неонацисты, фашисты, но они просто забегали в вагон метро, избивали людей не славянской внешности до полусмерти и выбегали из вагона. Я не хочу, чтобы однажды так случилось с моим сыном.
Tanya and Sveta are constantly thinking about leaving the city they love to escape abroad. Oleg has already made that decision. He is emigrating to Finland next month and used this rare workshop to talk openly about his experience. He belongs to a very small minority of transsexuals. In his case, from Olga to Oleg.
Ой, какая это была реакция. Мои родители потом еще годами мне пересказывали, какая у меня там была реакция. И как я обмахивался полами юбочки, и как я ездила в детском садике. И как я выбил себе на все выпускные штаны.
Oleg's parents are both doctors, but they have shunned their only child for his sexual orientation. He must be one of the loneliest people in Russia.
Я хочу уехать из России, потому что практически никаких шансов жить так, как я живу, и жить открыто, не скрывая, что я транссексуал, в России нет. Которые сочувствуют мне, открывая, что я транссексуал, потому что те, кто сочувствует, тоже подвергаются нападкам.
So back to Vitaly Milonov, the politician and ultra-Orthodox patron saint of Russian homophobia and author of anti-gay laws. This law has forced many gay couples to live in the shadows. It has exposed them to the threat of blackmail. It has forced them to deny who they really are. They have begun to feel like second-class citizens, whether in their home or outside their home.
I should say that that a person who lives not natural life always is going to feel himself a bit different. It's a sin. It's a way of life that is been chosen by these people. It's not like they cannot live another way.
What is it your business to interfere in their lives?
We do not interfere in their lives. We're just it's prohibited to address their minors with this information. Why do they need our minors? Why cannot you survive just having your same-sex friend, having your common disease together with him, venereal disease or AIDS, and to live with him? By the way, if you are talking about the strength of our families, normal families, real families are 10 times more stronger than this so-called same-sex couples and unions.
Do you have children yourself?
I have 3 kids.
Is one of them gay?
It couldn't be so.
The pomp and circumstance of Vladimir Putin's court may be high camp. But in his recent State of the Nation address, the last before the Sochi Winter Olympics, the president defended the anti-gay laws as part of a heroic battle between good and evil, between Mother Russia and the corrupting influence of the West. Putin started his career as a KGB boss in his native St. Petersburg, and this is the kind of marriage photo op on the banks of the river Neva that would surely warm his heart. A vision of Russia that is wholesome, pure and strong. This is a deeply conservative country that is much better at idealizing the past than imagining the future. Picking on gays and other minorities is one of the oldest tricks in the political playbook, and one of the nastiest. It shows the worst side of Russia, just at a time when the government had hoped we'll only notice the best.